Time now for the Indians minor league player of the week, and it's captain's left-handed starter Mike Rale. He went 1-0 and gave up no runs on just one hit in 7 innings pitched. Struck out 11, didn't walk a batter against Bowling Green last Wednesday. He's 3-0 on the season now. He struck out 31 in 31 1/3 innings pitched.
Very nice left-handed pitcher with the Indians. I mean, very nice job against Bowling Green last week. And you see these kids, when they pitch and they pitch to their strengths, they do a very nice job.
Well, congratulations to Mike Rale, another guy to keep an eye on. It'll be a while before we'd see him with Cleveland, but he'll make his way up the system. Welcome back to our STO studios, downtown Cleveland, for Indians Minor League Magazine. Time now for the focus on the future. He was the #1 draft pick last year. Drew Pomerantz, hot prospect coming out of college. So far, he hasn't failed to impress at the pro level. Connor Shreve has more with the Indians' big left-handed prospect.
What's your perspective on what the reaction has been as a #1 pick here in the last year? Where do you think the extra attention comes from, and what has that been like?
I think a lot of attention, I guess, is put on me this being my first year, starting out in high, haven't experienced any pro ball yet, but it's gone well so far, and I went out there in my first outing and tried to make a good first impression. Had a pretty good night out there for my first professional experience game, I guess, but it's going pretty well.
You've pretty much run the gamut. First 2 starts very good. Last time out, as far as a full start is concerned, your first experience in that you've given up a little bit more hits. So competition-wise, what do you feel like the offenses in the Carolina League are throwing at you?
Right now it's pretty. I'd say I run into a lot of guys that I played against in college. I mean, there's probably been one SEC guy that I've played against, at least on each team. So, and even Wilmington had 3, I think. And but it's for that, it's kind of a lot like the college hitters I've faced from now. But it's about what I expected to this point.
You came out of Ole Miss, a lot of pedigree, I guess is the way I'd put it, in your family at Ole Miss. Was there even a decision when it came time to talk about where you went for college?
It was pretty much I was going to go SEC. We came down to pretty much, I guess, Ole Miss or Mississippi State, but Ole Miss is about an hour away from my house. It's far enough away, but still close enough. And my dad, uncle played there, so it was a pretty easy decision for me.
And you only stayed 3 years, obviously a stellar junior season. What went into this decision to come out 1 year early?
I can't really turn down getting picked 5th overall, so I was actually dead set on signing out of high school, but ended up, going to college for 3 years. So the big thing for me was to, go to college for 3 years and come out better than that. In the drafts when I had an opportunity to.
And you mentioned a little bit earlier, made your pro debut here in Kinston, so it is your first professional season. And a lot of guys, this is slightly different for pitchers, but a lot of guys talk about how the most difficult part in the transition to the pro game is playing on a everyday basis. So you have a few starts, you're getting used to the 5-man rotation. How's the body feeling? How's your arm feeling at this point in the season?
Feels pretty good. I've actually had about 6 days in between the past couple. I think I might get 6 days again this time. So, it's going pretty well. We threw a lot in spring training, got us ready for that, and to get me ready, for the 5 days, which is about 2 days quicker than it would in a college game set. But it's going pretty well so far. And
to, I guess, shift gears a little bit, Kinston, a different type of place than what a lot of these guys are used to. So just take us through what you think of Kinston, what you think of historic Granger Stadium. What have been your first impressions?
A lot of people don't like small town, but I'm kind of used to it. I went to school in a real small town, so it's pretty normal for me. But it's a nice stadium here. The field especially, I really like our mound out here, and you get to play at a few other Carolina stadiums and Carolina League stadiums and see what their field's like, and you just gotta think about how nice it is for our surface and our mound to be as good as it is here.
That is 2010 Cleveland Indians first-round pick Drew Pomerantz. Drew, it's been a lot of fun watching you through the first couple starts, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
All right, guys, thanks. Drew Pomerantz, you look at his numbers in Kinston, he's dominated the Carolina League, Jason. I don't think it's going to be long before you see him pitching in the Eastern League with AA Akron.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you look at this kid, a 6'5", 230, 240. I mean, he is a good-sized left-handed prospect. The Indians, big-time upside for this kid. Reminds me a lot right now when I see, all the video of him. A young CC Sabathia, maybe not as polished, but you look at a young CC Sabathia when he was coming up through the rings, and you kind of equate that to Drew Pomerantz, and I think that's why the Indians went out and got him in as the 5th overall pick to be that #1 guy down the road.
Yeah, I really feel good about this kid. I think he's going to be a very good starter for the Indians eventually. All right, we'll take another time out with Indians Minor League Magazine, but still plenty more still to come. We'll take a look at the schedule, also the standings, as you look at some of the massive food options at Canal Park this year, including the Nice to Meet You burger. It's delicious. Trust me, I've tried it. We're getting ready to bring you our final thoughts. There we go. See, I told you I tried it. And where you can see the Tribe's farm teams play this week. Don't go away.
Beautiful. 26, 36 feet up.
Here's a look at the standings for where the Indians' respective farm teams are. Columbus dominating the International League West with a 23-7 mark. In first place, Jenmar Gomez rejoins the Columbus Clippers rotation this week. Akron, Kinston, Lake County there. Mahoning Valley will start their season in June. Let's take a look now at the schedule for the farm teams. Columbus hosts Charlotte before heading to Indy. Akron is on the road at Erie and Bowie. Kinston heads to Myrtle Beach, then hosts Frederick, and Lake County is at Dayton, taking on the Dragons before coming home to face West Michigan. Welcome back to our STO studios. Final segment here with Indians Minor League Magazine. Jay, we were talking about Drew Pomerantz in that last segment and comparing him to CC Sabathia. That's quite a lofty comparison, but I think it's a good one because when you look at what he presents physically for you and you look at the stuff he has, it's very similar to where Sabathia was at this stage of his development. The difference, though, Sabathia was out of high school, and of course, Pomerantz spent some time in college.
Yeah, and I think it's a fair assessment. You look at what their talent levels are, and Drew Pomerantz has a very devastating fastball, a good breaking ball, and is learning how to throw a good changeup. And CC, when he came out of high school, had a devastating fastball, a decent curveball, but a devastating slider. And he learned how, later in his career, how to throw a very good changeup. And when you look at these two guys and you compare them, both big-time left-handed pitchers, both in their prime right now, and even maybe ahead of their prime. And that's why you see Drew Pomerantz, he's going to move up through this organization very fast. He'll probably get to the big leagues probably end of next year, maybe the beginning of the following year. But that's what you have to see is this guy is a #1 top-line rotational guy for your organization.
It seems the Indians have really hit on their first draft picks the last 3 years. 08, Chisenhall, he's at AAA knocking on the door. 09, White, he's already in the Indian starting rotation. Pomerantz is making his way up the system. So it'll be interesting to see where these guys shake out, and I can't wait to see Drew Pomerantz.
It'll be fun. I mean, you look at both these guys, Alex White and Drew Pomerantz as a 1-2 punch. I mean, that says a lot about this organization. Then you add in all the rest of the rotation guys.
It's doing pretty well right now, like Masterson and Tomlin in the bunch.
Exactly.
All right, that's a wrap for Indians Minor League Magazine. Thanks for joining us. For Jason Stanford, I'm Al Pulowski. Hey, find us on Facebook, and we'll leave you now with some of the sights and sounds from historic Granger Stadium in Kinston, May 4th. That was Star Wars Day. They had Star Wars Day at Granger Stadium. Have a good one.